Look at this. It is pouring.
Oh my God, dude. Echoing off this chamber.
Oh my God!
Hello?
The deeper you go into the wild, the more the world begins to reveal its teeth. From a high-altitude helicopter assault on a defenseless campsite to the disturbing discovery of a hidden confinement room, these moments prove that safety is never guaranteed. If you found yourself caught in a nightmare with no way out, what would you do to survive? On January 1st, 2026, the YouTube channel X Hunter, recognized for metal detecting and underground treasure-seeking videos, released footage recorded on a dry, isolated hillside, thought to be located somewhere in North Africa or the Middle East. A single man wearing camouflage searches beneath a massive rock in open land, guided by the constant tone of his detector. Once the stone is shifted, an unusual sight is revealed in the dirt, a vivid yellow impression shaped like an enormous hand or claw. Its crisp edges and intense color contrast sharply with the dusty terrain, implying it was not a natural mark formed by age or erosion. As digging continues, a thick slab is uncovered. On the underside, evenly aligned spikes extend downward, looking more like a primitive trap than a form of protection. The setup appears intentional, as though built to press onto whatever rested below. Beneath the slab, human bones are exposed alongside metal pieces, chains, and decorative containers filled with coins styled to look ancient. The objects seem deliberately arranged, creating a scene that feels planned rather than random. The discomfort comes not from decay itself, but from revealing something that seems intended to remain concealed. The footage was later confirmed to be a fabricated scene produced for entertainment. Even so, its effect lingered. Although fictional images like these still prompt reflection on limits, how visuals of death, burial, and disruption can continue to unsettle, disturb, and trigger genuine moral responses long after the truth is known. Nat has lived on the road full-time since 2021, journeying with her dog Pike, and recording scenic paths and harsh trails for her channel. In a video posted on November 30th, 2025, her normal trip shifts suddenly and results in major damage to her campsite. She selects a peaceful overnight location high in Colorado's Alpine region.
Hi, buddy. We are here in High Alpine, Colorado. To be fair, I did choose to come to this location specifically. They are calling for a really significant snowstorm, and I'm really looking forward to a winter wonderland. And I'm gonna be cooking my Thanksgiving meal over the campfire.
As night approaches, she sets up camp and carries out routine tasks as darkness slowly covers the area.
I have no idea why there's a helicopter outside my camp. Like, if it was search and rescue, I feel like I would see flashlights and hear people like shouting and like setting up a base camp maybe. Oh my gosh, I think I hear another helicopter coming. Not a helicopter. More than I was. What I do know is Jesus loves this hot mess. So, is this helicopter like parked in the middle of the road? I am so confused. I think I see flashing lights. So I think someone has a flashlight. If it wasn't so dark, I'd be able to see what's going on. This is so weird. Okay, it's flying away.
Later that night, helicopters show up close to the campsite. A second aircraft soon arrives, touching down nearby before taking off again. The repeated low flights cause confusion and rising concern as sound and lights build around the camp.
Oh my God! What is going on? I just knocked into my camp. Look at what just happened. This helicopter just flew in and knocked over everything. Oh my God. Diesel everywhere. I hope my diesel heater didn't break. Like 2 helicopters just came in over my camp at tree line. So like, oh God, I'm going inside. They're flying off. Okay. They broke my heater. So I have absolutely no way to heat myself tonight because I'm about to cry. This is my home.
Shortly afterward, a helicopter passes extremely low over the campsite, tipping over equipment and spreading belongings. Fuel pours onto the ground and vital gear is damaged. The aircraft's downdraft sends solar panels flying her main power source and a key part of living off-grid. More items around the camp are damaged, leading to thousands of dollars in losses. The aircraft depart as suddenly as they arrived, giving no explanation for their actions. By the next day, she moves to a safer area and inspects the damage. Although she and her dog are unharmed, the event leaves her shaken with no clear reason for the helicopter's behavior. If this can happen without warning, how safe is remote camping truly? Posted on August 13th, 2024, this footage comes from TJ, an outdoor adventurer known for filming his camping, hiking, and kayaking trips throughout Alabama. His channel typically highlights calm moments, still water, quiet landscapes, and the simple pleasure of being outside. This journey, however, unfolded very differently. What started as a peaceful lakeside retreat soon became one of the most hazardous nights he had ever experienced in the wild. TJ intended to spend several days camped near one of his favorite lakes, fishing and kayaking, while dealing with the intense summer heat common to Alabama. At first, everything felt ideal. Sunlight shimmered across the water, Warm air drifted through the trees and gentle ripples reached the shore. There were no clear signs of trouble.
It's actually not even 8 o'clock in the morning yet, and it's already 80 degrees outside here in Alabama. Hooked the kayak up, did that little bit of filming with you guys, and I already broke a sweat just in that little bit of... I don't like rushing my summers. I used to say, man, I can't wait for fall, man, I can't wait for fall, and then as soon as fall comes, you enjoy it. I can't wait for summer or spring. I can't wait for summer or spring, so I try not to rush through everything. This box is awesome. They're expensive, but I think they're worth it if you don't have a way to haul your rods with you. I say it every time I film myself out here camping. This is my favorite place to camp in Alabama.
As the day went on, he checked the weather radar and saw a storm system developing far away. Initially, it seemed insignificant. The sky stayed bright and the lake remained still, so plans continued without change. Then conditions shifted abruptly. The atmosphere grew heavy, the wind direction changed, and dark clouds advanced much faster than expected. By the time TJ made it back to shore, the breeze had become cold and biting. The water turned rougher and visibility began to fade. He and those with him hurried to find cover sheltering inside a small gazebo near their tent in hopes the storm would move through quickly.
Holy cow, y'all. So, I don't know how much I just filmed out in the water. Me and Dylan were both just wading and fishing. Look at this. It is pouring. And that's only a few hundred yards away. It is white capping out here on the water. I don't know how bad that looks on camera, but it's pretty bad. We're kind of hoping it goes around us. I left the tent up because I've got my stuff in it, and in order for me to close that tent, and I don't really know if I have time, I don't want to be caught in the middle of it, because it's legit, it's raining right here. Look at that. And it's blowing directly in our face. We've had something pop up on us right here, and it is bad, y'all. We're inside of this gazebo, holding it down, and it's picking me up. Holy shit. This is nuts. Bro, I hope we ain't got no tornado popped up on us. Oh my God.
Instead, the situation worsened. Strong winds swept across the area, breaking branches and sending debris across the campsite. In only a few moments, a calm summer outing turned into a struggle to remain safe beneath a structure that felt weak and unstable. The tent thrashed as heavy rain poured down, and sightlines dropped to nearly zero. Every noise underscored how vulnerable they would be if the shelter collapsed or a nearby tree came down. They stayed close together while the storm continued.
Oh my goodness, y'all, look at this. You can't see the other side of the lake at all. Can y'all tell the lake is gone? I really hope this ain't a tornado, because we should probably be in the truck. Oh, there's the rain. We're just holding this gazebo down, guys. Is the tent good? This is absolutely insane, y'all. Look at this. Stuff falling out of the tree. Oh, no, that looks real. Oh my God, dude. We might need to get under the vehicle.
Dude, I've never been in something like this.
This is horrible, man. I haven't either. We probably need to be under our truck.
There ain't no doubt.
If this tree comes down, it's gonna hit us.
Eventually, the wind eased and the tornado passed, leaving rain and unease behind. When TJ stepped outside, the scene looked completely different. Trees lay scattered, debris covered the shoreline, and the campsite showed clear damage. By luck, their spot had avoided a direct hit. Close by, a huge tree had fallen exactly where they had first planned to camp. If they had chosen that location, the result could have been fatal.
All right, y'all, I don't know if we're in the eye of a tornado right now or not. Whatever just hit, it took this tree down where I was going to park. Look at this. It completely uprooted. My kayak is completely underwater. Thank goodness I didn't have my MK300 on. That was the worst experience of my life. Look at this tree, y'all. I hope that it's passed. It's still coming down pretty hard. This is where we were going to park. This is where we were going to camp because it was right behind the bathroom. The last time a major tornado hit this spot, can you help me tug this boat up? Ready, 1, 2, 3. This should be good, thank you. I hope there ain't no hole in it because it was late. When I got out here, it ruined my wrap. When I came out here, it was up on those rocks right there.
By morning, the storm had cleared, restoring still water and quiet air. TJ packed up his kayak, mindful of how fast conditions can become dangerous. Some think the storm intensified without warning, while others believe the signs were overlooked. But when nature changes this quickly, how ready can anyone truly be? A motorcyclist is traveling down a road when an animal suddenly darts into his path, leaving him no chance to respond. Are there any early signs that could be spotted in advance to help prevent this kind of situation? On August 29th, 2020, Uncharted Travel recorded a night spent alone inside a deserted countryside house that felt less like an empty building and more like a frozen nightmare. The host Trent entered a home filled with the decaying traces of a family's former life, only to realize that certain stories were not meant to be uncovered.
So finally just got inside here, and there's a lot more brush than I remember. And it looks like this is a nice photo of some ducks or something. Hello? Hello? There's a mouse that just moved under that box. It startled me. And there's, I think, a photo of the mother or one of the daughters. No stove, but the fridge is still here. I believe there's nothing inside. Please don't be smelly. Oh. Okay, that was a mistake. Looks like they had some ducks. Maybe they farmed them, I don't know. And then there's all these cassettes Gordon had that he recorded. But they have very obscure names. Found on Highway 55 or found on Highway 56. I'm here and I gotta be careful with my light because it looks right out onto the road. This looks like it was a photo of the two sisters. Oh, here's a photo of all four of them. It's probably one of the last photos ever taken. Or one of the few photos taken with all of them. It's sad to see that it looks like a little more destroyed than last time. This room always creeps me out. This was like their sunroom. They turned it into like a makeshift bedroom for someone. This looks like one of many photos Gordon had of animals he'd killed.
This is Thursday night. It's 7:31. I'm laying here in the alcove bed. I wonder, this is Red Party. I've got the homemade condenser microphone up my left ear. Okay, I'm Rick. Oh, it's Rick. Okay. No, I don't think anybody goes to another life when they die. You're holding on to the brain. Going various connections here, wires. Cords draped around my earlobe.
Old projector slides. You can see this one's like, looks like it's of the moon. It's hard to see. That one looks like it's someone standing in the grass. As you can see, here's more of these collages that Gordon has made of animals he's killed and mutilated here. Very disturbing.
The mood changes as soon as he steps into the living area, where the items left behind seem weighted with intention. Personal belongings and strange recordings sit in the darkness, pointing to a disturbed way of thinking. Along the walls, warped drawings and altered family photos suggest a past someone tried desperately to erase or reshape.
Something worth noting here. I noticed this my first time at this house. This dresser would have been covered with books, but if you look behind it here, it's actually blocking an entrance to an unfinished attic. And on the other side of that attic, right there where you see that pink open door, that's actually a secluded kids' room. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I'm going to be sleeping tonight.
The most disturbing find waits behind a large wardrobe in the attic, a narrow space built for confinement, locked only from the outside. Even with what this implies, he chooses to remain in the house overnight.
Moving into the next room here. Oh wow, there's vintage clothing and dresses. Looks like whoever lived in this room was very into fashion. This TV. This Thompson advises. Man takes wife for granted. So maybe some old photos and old projector slides. It looks fairly empty, which is a disappointment.
As darkness settles in, the building seems to stir. Erratic scraping noises burst through the metal pipes, a harsh movement that travels inside the walls.
Oh my god, there's something living in that pipe. You hear that? Oh my god. I was just packing up my headphones. The pipes just began to shake and... Alright. Let's get out of here. Back into my home sweet home. And I think with that, I can now call it a night. I don't know if it's just the storm, because it's picked up a lot. I don't know if you can hear, but there's like a loud banging sound downstairs. I might have to go check it out. I don't know. It's really hard to sleep in this house. I keep hearing something running around out here. There's nothing. I don't know what it is. It sounds like it's scurrying. So it looks like I'm gonna have to close this door for tonight. 'Cause I don't want raccoon visitors during the night. The outside lock is still working. I could lock myself in here. This house just doesn't want to give me that. The worst part about these alones is not actually going to these places and not like, I have no problem exploring the creepiest depths of each of these places. Like tunnels, no problem. Creepy basements, no problem. Oh my god, I keep getting woken up like you don't even understand. It's just like echoing off this chamber. Oh my god, you guys can't see this right now. Oh, shoot. This camera. I hope that wasn't a person. Hello? Okay, so this was that bang you just heard. Do you know that shelf that was sitting right here that I pushed out of the way that was blocking the entrance to this attic? It just almost took a tumble down the stairs. And it scared the life out of me. How the hell did this thing fall? I thought I gave it enough space on the ledge where it wouldn't have...
The tension peaks when the heavy wardrobe, the sole barrier to the exit, suddenly falls down the staircase for no clear reason. In the end, the fear does not come from anything supernatural, but from the signs of human fixation left behind in the quiet. It forces an unsettling question if there were no spirits involved. Why was a child-sized room concealed and secured from the outside? When a place is abandoned, does the truth fade away, or do its secrets only grow louder? On June 11th, 2023, Trent the Traveler recorded a disturbing solo camping trip along Colorado's Phantom Canyon Road. Once a 19th century railway route shaped by mining tragedies and violent labor conflicts, the road has since become a quiet dirt path cut into towering canyon walls. As night falls, the burden of its past turns the scenic landscape into something far more ominous.
All right, I finally got a fire going. I was worried there for a minute because it started raining and I was worried we wouldn't be able to hang out outside. But thankfully, the rain let up and we're here on this beautiful... So, let's tell some ghost stories. In the 1800s, this area, or this road that we drove in on, used to be a railroad system that connected Florence and Cripple Creek, Colorado. And supposedly in the 1890s, passengers aboard the train were traveling through this canyon and they saw a man walking along the train tracks in prison attire. Supposedly looked like a man that was previously executed. Now, a lot of the people that ended up in the Colorado State Penitentiary down in Canyon City or the jail in Cripple Creek, and they found themselves getting locked up for many reasons like public intoxication, theft, or even murder, after a huge labor strike between the miners and the mine owners. These mining companies in this area wanted to increase the workdays without increasing the wages. And a lot of them walked off the job, leaving a lot of these mines to shut down. And that's when these mining companies started bringing in non-union workers to work in these mines so they could stay afloat, and that's when all hell broke loose. There were gunfights, train derailments, purposely collapsed mines with people in them, and at one point, 15 people were killed. Miners even bombed a train depot, killing 13 more non-union workers. But of course, it finally did eventually settle, but it's believed that this whole area between Canyon City, it's all incredibly haunted. And people that come here claim to see ghostly figures that look like prisoners or miners walking among this forest late at night. All by myself here in this forest. I thought I heard something moving over here. Freak, I'm on edge. Of course I am. I'm in a haunted forest, for crying out loud. I am going to put out this fire and go explore a little bit and see if we find or experience anything interesting. So let's go explore.
The tension begins with the realization that he is camping on what is essentially a burial site, the location of a historical act of sabotage that killed 15 miners. That grim awareness is abruptly broken when a sharp, unexplained noise bursts from the darkness, instantly putting him on alert as he sits beside his fire. The psychological strain reaches its height when Trent steps into a long stone tunnel. The stillness of the canyon is replaced by a sound that makes no sense.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna sit here for a bit and just soak this all in. I think this tunnel is really, really cool. I keep hearing stuff, but I'm like 98% sure it's just the bats making weird noises. You know, something I've been asking myself when doing research about this place, what is it about these old mining towns that makes them so haunted? I know it was the Wild West, so there were a lot of gunfights, a lot of violence. And maybe that's it. In the paranormal community, apparently quartzite, the mineral, holds a lot of paranormal energy. And buildings or towns or places that are built upon large quartzite nodes, and I'm not quite sure the science behind that or why, and that's got me wondering, like, now bear with me for a second. Maybe by digging into these mountains and mining all this ore, these tragic events or cause these people to do these bad things, and because there were a lot of like gruesome murders back then too. You know, I don't know if it's my mind playing tricks on me or not, but I definitely just heard singing, like distant singing. Okay, I know for a fact that the camera can't pick it up. It is so faint that I'm like struggling to hear it. The sounds bouncing off the tunnel walls or what, but it literally sounds like people singing.
Within the cold, stale air, a soft, rhythmic singing echoes through the passage, leaving him frozen in place. Even after he returns to his van, the fear lingers, making every noise feel threatening. In the end, the experience raises an unsettling question. When daylight returns and shadows lose their meaning, was the danger ever truly there? Or did the night simply change the way the world was heard? Have you ever sensed a place revealing its dark past through silence alone? On January 16th, 2026, the YouTube channel Mark Travels, famous for its cinematic motorcycle journeys and thoughtful reflective narration, recorded a passage through the center of rural Japan. Alongside his friends, Chris and V. Mark guided his bike across quiet villages and fog-covered mountains. It was a reflective ride, one that seemed fully controlled, until a single stretch road showed how quickly confidence can fade. The calm pattern of the ride starts to break apart the instant they leave the map and move into the darkness of a steep, forgotten path.
Really gotta love Japan, eh? Wow. Haha. Alright, let's do this. Yeah? You think? Well, we'll find out. Hey, let's try it. I should maybe change the mode into Enduro. I think that's just suspension, right? Should be. It's probably a little bit softer. But yeah, street tires. No, but where is the road? I don't think it's a road here. Yeah, but it's very cool. Let's make a photo together. Is she scouting out the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to head back. Still worth it though. Fuck. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Shit.
Despite Mark's slow and deliberate actions as he creeps downhill at a crawl, the abrupt loss of grip makes the bike fall in a heartbeat, a quiet collapse that happens too fast for human reflex to stop.
Sorry bike. I knew it. I kinda fell. I saw it going down here, and then I should have stayed on this side. It had no chance, like, there was no way I could hold it. I guess I smashed up the pannier quite good. Okay, let's pick it up.
Rising without injury, Mark learns the cause was not poor skill, but a concealed problem.
And that not really big damage. Well, one of my first like real falls, I guess. And that with the rental bike. But yeah, we'll be alright. We'll be fine.
Crash?
Yeah, I slipped there. I saw it happening because I noticed that it goes down here. It was on this side, and then just, yeah, with these tires, it's like, I'm okay. Luckily, I walk here. Yeah, like you can see here.
Wonder if we can find that lock.
There's a car coming now. Of course, now there's a car coming. There was no cars the whole time. We're back on the road. Thank God for these crash bars. I'll have to pay for the pannier for sure. But the rest seems fine. My first fall in Japan. I have to be so careful here. I had it again 2 times, like the front, where it's crazy.
This is the last road we'll be on like this, bro.
Yeah, no, it's no worries.
I feel so fucking bad. I'm like, fuck, he's never gonna want to come back.
That just happened.
Okay.
Don't stress, man.
I was super worried.
No, man.
Well, I'm a big brother too, you know?
Yeah,
I
but
got
that's
2 little
okay,
brothers.
man. You see these tires, guys? They're not good anymore. Yeah, I was already talking about it the whole time that these tires feel very slippery. I guess it's because they're very old. Compound gets hard. So yeah, might have not been entirely my fault.
The rental tire was aged and stiff, a silent clock that finally failed on the wet mountain slope. The danger was not carelessness, it was an unseen limit built into the machine itself. Later, the seriousness of the road is confirmed as they pass an active crash scene where Japanese police carefully examine the pavement, treating the debris with the harsh gravity of a crime site. By night, a hidden waterfall brings back the calm, but the meaning remains. Danger seldom comes from speed, but from the quiet mix of worn equipment and the mistaken belief of safety. It leaves us to ask, when the road feels flawless, what warning signs do we overlook? And is the forest silence a comfort to enjoy, or a disguise for the risks we cannot see?